food off at Mule Alley. That's what she said, Mule Alley. So that's the closest I can get it to Mule Alley. And she's like, I'm never gonna use DD again. I don't care if you use DD or not, lady. You can use whatever you want. You can use Uber Eats for all I care, Postmates. Or if you want to use Grubhub, go ahead. I don't care. That's the old bombed out one right there. That was the one we used to hang off of when we were kids. We'd actually hang off the edge of the buildings there. We called it the bombed out factory, but it was actually a meat packing plant. It was a meat packing plant. Oh, there it is. It's still there. It's still there too. I just saw a corner of it. It's an abandoned building we used to hang out in high school in the early 90s. We'd hang off the side of it and then trip out. All right, yeah, you know, I left it in Mule Alley right there in Fort Worth Stockyards. Mule Alley is not that big. Mule Alley is not that long. And Mule Alley is just a road where there's a bench and you can find it. I put center-ish, okay, but it's because autocorrect separated center from ISH. It came out center space-ish. Center-ish in the fact that I set it in Mule Alley. I'm trying to speak. I set it on in Mule Alley center-ish on the east side of where the sidewalk was, on a bench, you know, because I can't go around looking for 420, Suite 420, and I can't go around looking for East 122 Exchange if they don't put the address out front. There's no way we can find it. We don't have a special app that covers when you're walking. They may come up with that eventually. When you're walking, can it guide you to where they're supposed to be? And they do that whole iPhone thing where you can connect with the other iPhone, but that's a security issue. You don't want to do that either because you can get hurt that way. So the best way to do it in that situation where you're just running around in circles is go to a bench, drop it off, and explain where the bench was. I said it was center-ish. It was a bench. I said it was on Mule Alley, or in Mule Alley, the center-ish area of Mule Alley on the sidewalk, east side. So that's not going to be hard to find. I mean, she may have to do some deciphering, but hey, that's fun. You get to look for your food. Sorry, cats do the same thing. You do the same thing to cats. Sorry, she had to walk outside of the sidewalk. What am I supposed to do? There's not even nowhere to park. Well, we're headed off to drop this off before it meets its maker and melts all over my car. I'm gonna take 35W. I don't know how far this shake is going. Why they had an order from Shakeshack in the middle of the stockyard exchange at Fort Worth Stockyards, I have no clue. This is a sign that you shouldn't drive high. Now it's no longer driving drunk, it's driving high. And I don't know how they really can tell yet. I don't know if they have a breathalyzer or they smell it. They don't know the level of high, you know. Like, how high are you? And then some people say, you know, it's not dangerous to drive high. But some people feel that it is because it slows down your reaction time. Alcohol does. Alcohol does. It's dangerous as hell to drive on alcohol. But I guess, you know, driving high is probably not the most... Just put it this way, you know, when you want to drive under the influence of God, okay? When you drive, you want to drive sober, under sobriety, under the influence of God, not under the influence of anything else. Like, you don't even want to drive watching a Woody Allen movie. That would be driving while under the influence of Woody Allen, and you don't even want to do that either. So stay away from smoking weird stuff or drinking and driving. All that stuff I've heard horror stories. It's very dangerous, especially on the holidays too. Don't do it on the holidays. So whoever was behind this, I'm not laughing, but Fossil Creek is very far from the Fort Worth Stockyards, okay? And we're talking about one of these right here. And that's a little far, okay? I understand maybe some kind of steak or burger, but you're talking about one shake being delivered from the Fort Worth Stockyards way out to Fossil Creek. No, that's not... I'm not laughing at that at all. That's way too far to take a shake. So, whatever. Nice and warm and juicy. And that's pretty much the delivery time right there. good to go. We drank milkshakes. Cold and long. Considered maybe changing Law and Sickness to 5 years rather than just Law and Sickness, because at least a song is attached to the play. Also considered changing it to the title The MacGuffin, or just Guff, G-U-F-F. I like Guff, just you. And then The War of Fun, which sounds kind of a little cheesy in a way. But I like 5 years because it's outside of the play. He does mention, I do call for a song where he imitates David Bowie with his own lyrics. He plays a 12-string guitar. So there's a 12-string guitar that's called for in the play. And there's a moment where he imitates David Bowie. So he's kind of like a David Bowie imitator kind of thing at one moment in the play. But I do like the idea of just calling the play 5 years. And it's the most mysterious kind of title that's outside of the play. So the play would be called 5 years. Something about it, I like it. I like it for some reason. Yep. The title that just comes over me is I like 50-50. So 50 and then a period and then 50. So 50.50. I like that as a title too. So some title that doesn't really fit a title. I like the idea, like the play doesn't really fit, you know. I like that idea. It doesn't fit into like really any type of one style, or you know, it's not like Tennessee Williams, it's not like Annie Baker, it's not like Sam Shepard really. It's not like Beckett, it's not like any of the other playwrights, but the title's like 50-50. Like, why is it called 50-50? Exactly, you know. Why would it not be called 50-50, you know? Something like that. And then, you know, one option, of course, you never know what your play's really going to be titled, because they change the titles of plays over time. They did it with Shakespeare, they did it with everybody. So your play could be like titled one thing, and then years later it's titled a different name. Originally, Tennessee Williams, when he wrote Streetcar Named Desire, it was called The Poker Game. Now it's called Streetcar Named Desire. But it could go back and be called The Poker Game. People could title it The Poker Game, and they'd understand what they're talking about. I like 50-50. I like The MacGuffin. I like Guff. I also like The War of Fun. And I do like Law and Sickness. Those are things that could be maybe said before the play. I think it has many titles. Many titles is also cool too. Don't know yet. I haven't decided yet. I like the idea that it doesn't really have a title. They could even call it Ash and Sniffles. That could also be a title too. But I'm not really concerned with the title. The title's not what I'm concerned with. What I'm concerned with is if I can get it on stage and stand it up. Cool to have like a projection screen on it and show all these photos of different playwrights. So when the play opens, it's just a projection screen, and maybe David Bowie's 5 years is playing, and you hear the song playing behind the projection screen, and there's different photos, like a photo of William Shakespeare, and then a photo of like Tennessee Williams, and then a photo of Arthur Miller, and then it switches from that to a photo of Lanford Wilson, and then from Lanford Wilson it shows like a quick photo of Sam Shepard when he was really young and skinny in the streets of New York, and then it switches from another photo of after Sam Shepard, it'll switch to David Mamet, and then that photo goes away, and then it shows like Bertolt Brecht, you know, like out of time, so it's not all in time, and then the song continues on, and then it shows another photo of another playwright, and then like maybe a friend that I know that's a playwright, and then another person holding a pen that wrote a play too. All these unknown people that wrote plays. So it starts off with famous people, and And then the projection screen continues on, and it goes to people that are just normal day people. And then finally a photo of me. And then I'm kind of looking like that in a car. And then it slowly, the lights go down, and then that's when the play begins, you know, with the setting. Some research on Cora, and I found out that 5 years is actually about Ziggy Stardust. And so Ziggy Stardust was kind of like a Martian, kind of like an alien from outer space that comes to visit the planet Earth. He did do a movie, something like the man that fell to Earth or something like that. But anyway, regardless, Ziggy Stardust was a character that David Bowie had kind of written or made up. It was supposed to be like an alien from outer space, and he comes to visit, like a visitor, and he visits the Earth, and he tells everyone that they have 5 years. That's it. After the 5 years, Earth was going to be completely destroyed. I like that idea. Actually, within the song 5 years with David Bowie, he does find a moment to visit an ice cream shop. And he drinks milkshakes, cold and long. So he likes the milkshakes, and he's a Martian. And I did see some of his acting when he first started. I thought he was really good in The Last Temptation of Christ as Pontius Pilate. But when he first started acting, he was kind of like out of time. He wasn't really like in the moment. It was like a bubble was around him or something. And he would do something very Andy Warhol and just kind of off the wall kind of acting. It was very like, I'm not gonna say it was bad acting per se. You have to go back and watch it. It just seems like he's not really there. Like he's in some other time and space. Like he's not present, which is interesting. I like that. I like the whole fact that he's somewhere else. Like he's not, you know, like there in the moment, that he's in a different moment, you know, a different world, kind of otherworldly, kind of like an alien, you know. 5 years is kind of my way on this play, and it does get published and makes it to Broadway, or at least off Broadway. There are some notes that I'd like to give out. So I do want to address the song 5 years, maybe for the beginning opening, but I don't know for sure. I'm not real sure on the music. But there are plays that require certain instruction. Oh my gosh, what is this? Like an Adam the Woo wannabe right here. So there is a time where there's an intermission, or there's a time when you go into the lobby, and I really would only like certain types of bands played over the speakers. And one of them, of course, is Slint. So I'm pro Slint. So Slint is spelled S-L-I-N-T. They're a Kentucky band. And their music would be allowed to be played in the lobby during intermission or before or after the play. It doesn't have to be. It can be really any local band in that area. But if there's any kind of commercial band that would be used, only Slint. And also, if there's a local band or something like in your local area, then that local band can be used in intermission, but no commercial music at all, other than, of course, the David Bowie 5 years, which would be at the beginning only, not the end. So at the end of the play, if you wanted to have some type of music coming up as the lights were going down, I would choose more of an instrumental piece with no lyrics. It's okay to use the lyrics and stuff for the David Bowie beginning, or the beginning opening with 5 years. And then you see Sniffles and Ash kind of frozen into place. Like they're, you know, like Sniffles might have the scissors out trying to cut something like a shirt, and Ash is probably sitting on the couch writing in his journal. I'd want the set to be as bare as possible, other than things that I called for, which is the grandfather clock, the very large modem, and then, you know, just a couch and regular stuff, like stuff that's called for that absolutely you have to have. Other than that, everything would be bare minimum, like very minimal setting. Don't want to worry about the set at all. I'm not trying to trick the audience with a set or anything. I'm not trying to impress them with a set. So it'd be very minimal setting, but there would be certain items there. Definitely the grandfather clock, which is not mentioned in the play, and it's the MacGuffin. Nor should the grandfather clock ever be mentioned. It's kind of out of place. Now remember, Ash is a time traveler. So if an actor is playing them, they would want to know a lot about time travel and stuff like that, because Ash is actually, he can actually travel through time. He doesn't talk about how he does it. And also Sniffles, she's a complete alcoholic. Another note about the grandfather clock. The grandfather clock never chimes, but at one moment in the play. So there is a moment where the grandfather clock does chime, but it only happens one time in the play. The jet noises and all that stuff will be figured out between the actors and the stagehand and directors and stuff like that. There are moments where there's jet noises that fly over, like fighter jet noises that fly over the town home. There is moments where there's a sound of water running, like a toilet running or like a sink running. There's also a time where there's a sound of a toilet, and that's supposed to be in there too. So there are sound effects that you can get from really anywhere. I would try to get the sound effects from probably YouTube, because they have really good sound effects rather than SoundCloud, which I don't use SoundCloud anymore. YouTube has a really good source of sound effects. You can also make up your own sound effects too if you want to do that as well. That's perfectly okay if you're dealing with a play. I know a lot of sound effects and stuff like that are kept on cassette tape, and that's fine too. Music is kept on cassette tape for plays because there's less error. But it doesn't matter really if they use a CD, a compact disc, or however they make up the sound effects, as long as they're there during the play. That's what matters the most. And it doesn't have to be complex. I want it to be easy to use. They do have to get some form of grandfather clock. Now, the grandfather clock can be made, so you can make it, or you can even draw it. You can draw the grandfather clock on the actual cyclorama or on the back wall of the stage. You can have a grandfather clock drawn there, or like on a curtain, or just a photo of a grandfather clock that's been resurrected. Or you can get a grandfather clock. It doesn't have to actually be, I'm not getting all Sam Shepard where Sam Shepard wanted you to bust the bottles for real. It doesn't have to be a real grandfather clock. And neither is the modem. The modem can be drawn, or it can be a fake modem. It doesn't have to be real. It'd be cool to get real modems and real grandfather clocks, but I'm not calling for the actual item to be what they really are. So a table can be like a fake table or a real table. A couch can be a fake couch or a real couch, or the couch can be drawn. The only thing is that the actors would have to sit at the foot of the couch, because I want the actors to really sit. I don't want them mime sitting or anything like that. I did call for a realistic town home or townhouse. Town home. I did call for a realistic town home. And that means that ideally, if you can get a realistic town home looking thing where the set looks like a town home, that would work as well. So it can be very abstract looking, or it could be very realistic. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It doesn't matter. What I'm more concerned with is the dialogue, what the actors are doing and things like that, than I am looking at a set when I go to a play. I don't really care what the set looks like. I care more about what the actors are doing and their behavior and how they're using sense memory and things like that. And so I do want the acting to be real, for sure. I don't want it to be too fake. You know how Sam Shepard's, some of his early work, the actors are almost comedic, del arte, kind of comedic. I don't want it to be that way. I want them to be real and act real as they can. So they should have acting lessons and stuff like that. So they should be able to handle it. But I don't want like fake bombastic acting, you know, where they're waving their hands around and, you know, acting like that. I don't really want that. That can ruin a play. I want them to act accordingly to how reality is, which is important. And I do want interpretation, so I want them to interpret things too. But if you go to a Samuel Beckett play and everyone acts real fake and stupid, you're not going to like it that much. There's moments of reality. Stand in the tollway where they take a photo of your license plate right here. Or is that oh, he's a big fan of the show. Is that counted as a, what is that? Is that counting the cars? I never really figured it out. It's not a camera though, I don't think. I don't know. It's real weird. Just when you enter into or you enter onto the highway, you have to pass under one of those things. I don't know if it counts the cars, like a census. So it's counting how many people are around. Okay, I see. There's an OU game. It says, don't be a sooner, horns up, phones down, hook 'em horns. Hook 'em horns. Hook 'em. Hook 'em horns. Right here, don't be a sooner. Yeah, James McClure, Lone Star. They need to make a movie out of that, a really good one. Or really like a WB kind of, or Paramount or something. Do like a Lone Star movie. That'd be great. I could play Ray. But I don't know. It's pretty cool. Anyway, hook 'em horns kind of thing. Pussy Kitty, which is the musical I'm working on, it has like the sound of Slint. Think of Slint's albums. And like the dancing is very mechanical. It's very jerky and mechanical. There should be a cat used somewhere in the musical. There's a cat that's passed around. It can be a stuffed animal cat. If you use a real cat, it'd have to be really trained. Like the cat would have to be well trained. But the actors were to pass around this cat in one scene, because the whole musical is called Pussy Kitty. And it's about these vloggers. They're like people with, cameras that send stuff up on YouTube. Mostly stuff that works commercially so they can make money. And they all make money doing it. And so they, like one guy sends stuff up about his cats. Another one might do something about dogs, or a story about the weather, or something like a weather report. Kind of like David Lynch's weather report kind of thing, where they're all making money off of it in some way or another. And they all send it up onto a platform like Instagram or Facebook, or they can send it up on, let's see, what's another one? Instagram, Facebook, maybe Twitter. I don't know if Twitter does videos, though. They probably don't. It'd be cool if Twitter did videos. They can still send the message from Twitter. They can use Twitter to send the message, the online site. Oh, I know what it's called. The site that they send it on. They make money off of the site called, man, I forgot the name of it. It's a video site that you can send money up and make, send a video up to make money off of. I think it's like, man, I want to say Venmo, but Venmo's a banking thing. I don't know the name of it. I used to know it. I've seen it on a few places, but a lot of filmmakers and videographers will send their footage up, or their story, or whatever you call it, their vlog or whatever. They'll send it up on this certain site. And it's not Venmo, but it sounds like that. It's more like Facebook, definitely. So Facebook, a big yes. They send it up on Facebook. Instagram, yes. I don't know if they do videos. It's not Snapchat. Oh, man, I don't know the name of it. I didn't get a whole lot to eat today. It's like, yeah, I don't know the name of it. Anyway, it's a platform that they send up stuff. And Facebook would be like a really good idea, because they make money off the Facebook one. I know Instagram might have it, but there's a TikTok. Yeah, TikTok. It's TikTok. They set it up on TikTok or Instagram, and they make money off that. They dance around, like, it's not like Bob Fosse stuff, but it's more like mechanical. Think of breakdancing, nearly, almost breakdancing. And they have these cameras that they come out. So every actor will always have like a camera. They can actually really vlog it during the musical. So you can use up footage of the musical being vlogged by these actors. So the actors have cameras in their hands and they're doing the musical. Then they send it up to a site like TikTok or whatever, Facebook or whatever. And that can really happen. So it's about vloggers. Time I'm on this bridge right here, there's a Bucky sticker that shows up. I think it's happened 10 out of 10 times. I've been on this bridge, this very bridge, and the person ahead of me had a Bucky sticker. You can barely see that one, it's black and white. Don't know why. It's weird, mysterious, kind of like parallel universe, where you cross that bridge and there's nothing but a Bucky sticker on the back of a car. It's very strange. Well, I mean, there was a license plate and stuff, but wouldn't it be cool if your license plate just said Bucky's, had a little gopher or whatever it is? What is Bucky anyway? He's a gopher, right? He's something similar to a gopher. He has gopher teeth, but it'd be cool, you know. You have like a license plate. You just had like a gopher on the back of it. Just, you know, you go to Buc-ee's.